your second act is actually your best one yet. This week, I'm joined by Angela Parker, creator of Unapologetically 50 Plus, who's on a mission to help women rewrite the rules of midlife. We're talking about shedding expectations, reclaiming joy, and living out loud, even if society told you to quiet down. If you've ever thought, is this it? Angela's got a few things to say that might just light a fire under your fabulous self. So stay tuned. You're listening to This Woman Can. I'm your host, Janice Sutherland, where I help mature professional Black women take charge of their careers and lives to create a future on their terms. Hey, and welcome back to This Woman Can, the podcast where we toss out old rule books and rewrite what success looks like after 50. I am your host, Janice Sutherland, career strategist for the mature Black woman. Now, if you've ever found yourself staring out the window with a cup of tea or coffee, wondering what now, then you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're diving deep into that glorious and, let's admit it, sometimes messy space called reinvention. And my guest, she's bringing the wisdom and the warmth, Angela Parker, who is the founder of Unapologetically 50 Plus, a powerful community where women are encouraged to show up as their full, fierce selves. No filter, no apology necessary. Angela shares her own story of pivoting after corporate burnouts and a health wake-up call, and how she's now helping women reconnect with who they really are beyond the titles, the to-do lists, and the expectations. So if you're ready for some real talk, a few laughs and a nudge, actually maybe a shove, towards joy and fulfillment, you're going to love this conversation. Let's get into it. Everybody, welcome back to this week's edition of This Woman Can. I am your host, Janice Sutherland, career strategist for mature Black women. And as always, we're here for the real talk, the laughs, and the life shifts that come when you're a woman who's really owning her second act with no apologies and a whole lot of purpose. Now, today's guest may sound familiar because, yes, I did an interview with her not so long ago, and she is a powerhouse of clarity and confidence. I am reciprocating and chatting with Angela Parker, the brilliant mind behind Unapologetically 50 Plus, a lifestyle and personal growth community that's all about helping women in midlife reconnect with themselves and shake off those old dusty roles that no longer serve us. You know, the caretaker, the overfunctioner, the silent sufferer, the list goes on. Angela says no to all of this. And I, as you know, and not unexpected, I'm here for it. She offers workshops, coaching, and deep soul stirring conversations, guiding women over 50 to stop playing small and start living lives that feel authentically them and aligned and unapologetically true to who they are right now. So grab your tea, your coffee, your wine. I'm not judging here. And let's dive into the conversation. Angela, thank you so much for joining me on This Woman Can this week.
Thank you. I love that intro. Wow. I feel really important now. Thank you.
Look, so I always tell women, sometimes we don't see ourselves how others see ourselves. And we're so used to kind of just doing what we do that we don't recognize the greatness within. So I'm here to give you your flowers and your greatness.
Fantastic.
So before we get into the real nitty gritty, tell me a little bit about where you got to where you are today.
So I was in corporate America since I can remember, but I was in the pharmaceutical and healthcare industry for at least 20 years. And the job as you know, corporate America, they push. So I started having a lot of, chronic back pain because my job required me to drive a lot.
Yes.
So I went out on disability. After a while, they decided to let me go. And I said, you know what? This is just my time to exit. I looked at it as, okay, there must be another door that's going to be bigger and better opening up.
Yeah.
So while I was on disability, I started doing my podcast. I was doing it actually with my husband because I said, we have 30 years of well, at the time, 28 years of marriage. It's been pretty good, ups and downs, but otherwise it's been pretty good. I said, let's do a podcast together, babe. He was like, real hesitant, but he was like, oh, okay. So, with him working full time and being a musician, his time was very limited. So, the podcasts weren't consistent. I said, you know what? Let me pivot. What else do I know? What else do I know really well? I said, I know what it's like to be a Black woman over 50. So that's just where the Unapologetically 50 Plus came in. I pivoted and I've been really focused on this probably for the last 6 months, really focused on
Yes.
building Unapologetically 50 Plus. And
Yeah.
so I've written a book, I coach, and, I have my podcast and I'm working on workshops, putting together workshops.
Fantastic,
So,
fantastic.
yep.
So we're in a similar veins.
Yeah.
We're in similar lines of work. And the one thing I know that you've picked out, which has happened to me, is that our body has a way of giving us that what I call the warning shots.
Hmm.
That something is coming, and that if you don't listen to me, I'm going to give you that slap that takes it all the way back, just to tell you need to do something.
Exactly.
So we really have to listen to our bodies.
Yes, definitely. And I'm glad I did. And I was kind of disappointed when they did lay me off. I was, but wasn't because you're never expecting it. But it
Yeah.
was just interesting that, they laid me off on September 11th. And it was just kind of like, okay, this is a pivotal moment. And I was like, okay. This
Yeah.
just, again, it was just my intuition saying it's time to go. Your body
Yeah.
is saying stop.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I did. I am so glad I did.
And this conversation is probably opportune because quite recently we've heard all the reports about how many Black women have been laid off from work. 106,000, I think, in the US that I heard. And so, what would you say to, and some people, some women, as you said, it's unexpected, struggling a little bit and stuff like that. So, any woman who's listened to this who's recently been laid off, what
Mhm.
would you say to them, give them a bit some optimism about what the future holds?
I would say, and I had to look at it for me this way,
Mm.
that even though we, of course, don't know what's coming down the road, it is going to be okay. And you
Yeah,
truly have to believe that in
yeah.
your mind, body, and spirit that it's going to be
Mm.
okay. And this is the way I look at things, is this
Yeah,
is a door that is closing for another door to open, and you have
yeah,
to walk through that door and not be afraid. And at our age, yes, especially if we're so tied to our jobs, and that's most of us are, that
mm.
we have to understand that's not who we are. Our job is
Yeah,
not who we are.
yeah,
And
yeah.
take this time. Don't rush back. If you can, don't rush back
Mm.
into another job. If you can,
Yeah,
look, find what really brings you joy. Doing
yeah.
Unapologetically 50 plus, and even though I'm still working on building the business, it truly brings me joy because I'm able to connect with so many wonderful women, even though it's always
Yeah,
online. I haven't met you
yeah.
guys in person, and I'm hoping that will happen one day. But this truly gives me
Mm.
joy to be able to speak to women who are older than me, some are younger. I'm learning from all of you. So
Mm.
just walk through that door and see where it takes you. Because I believe in
Yeah,
my heart you won't be disappointed if you truly are listening to your intuition.
yeah. And I think as much as we did, sometimes we're not in the situation ready to receive it. It is actually about taking some time because we have been so on the go all the time, always running, always being somebody else. It's
Right.
probably the first time you've had a chance to have a hard stop. And yes, it's a hard stop, but it's actually a stop to say, okay, let me just give myself, you know, give myself a little bit of time to think about what do I actually want, because
Right.
we never give ourselves that chance. And
No.
I did that in a workshop recently where I said, you look, I want you to take this hour just to think about these questions for you,
Mm.
all about you, not about your partner, your boss, your kids, your family, whatever it is, just about you. And we're not used to doing that.
No. We're not, because that's not what society has told us to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Told
yeah,
us to keep working and keep doing and keep moving and keep pushing through. And we
yeah,
haven't had a chance to say, what brings me true joy?
yeah. Hustle and grind.
Hustle and grind. Yeah,
Hustle and
exactly.
grind, hustle and grind.
Exactly.
So looking back, Angela, what do you think for you has been the most difficult part of your transition? You know, what would have made your journey easier?
I would say not worrying so much about money, not worrying about where is the next dollar going to come from.
Yeah,
You know, even when you have your 401k, or you maybe have money put aside, it's always that's not enough. So I
yeah,
think if I would have stopped worrying so much about
mm,
um, how is this going to be get paid and how's that going to get paid, um, then it might have made the overthinking not
yeah,
so much, and I
yeah,
could have really enjoyed more of the time that I've been off. I mean, I'm starting to learn. I'm finally in
yeah,
that point where
yeah,
I'm like, oh, it's
yeah,
going to be okay. It really is. It's
yeah,
going to be okay.
yeah,
I mean, it has been for the past 2 years. It's
yeah,
still going to continue to be okay.
yeah,
So I think for me, that was the biggest worry, and not and and not worrying about my husband being worried about getting things taken care of, because
yeah,
there's another person that you have to think
yeah,
about, because now they might feel, or he was feeling the pressure. Okay, now that you're not working, I got to pick up all these. And I said, no,
yeah,
I had to reassure him that we're going to
yeah,
be okay.
yeah,
Even in my
yeah,
head, I'm going, we're going to be okay, right,
yeah,
Angela?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
think that was the biggest
yeah,
shift that I had to
yeah,
make.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's so true because I think society's done a real number on us because one of the things women always say to me about why they can't change roles or they're staying where they are or, I just can't move is financial. They all say money. And I think money is the easy go to because it's the thing we expect everybody to say it's financial. But
Yeah.
then I always say to them, I said, well, actually, what are you going to do if you're not enjoying it, you're not enjoying spending it, you're not around to spend it because you didn't listen to those early warning signs we spoke about earlier. So, and when you start talking to women, it really isn't about the money. The money's the easy question, the money's the easy answer, because they say what they believe. If someone asks you why do you want to leave or why do you stay where you are, you say
Mhm.
it's money.
Yeah.
You don't talk about, I'm scared of starting over. I feel like I may be too old. I feel like I don't have the experience. With that the real reason for us wanting to change, because it's an answer people will understand.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
What you're saying right there does make a lot of sense, because again, we don't see how valuable we are and how much experience we have, and
yeah,
we're giving that experience to someone else.
yeah.
And some of the stuff we don't know. You don't naturally know how to build a business, and you
Mm,
might not know who to go to, so you feel like you're isolated.
yeah,
But that makes a lot of sense. Money is the easy go-to,
yeah,
instead of saying, you know what, I'm just scared. I'm scared that I'm a fail. I'm scared
yeah,
that I
yeah.
won't know what to do,
It's admitting
you
things to
know.
yourself.
And
Yeah,
and especially in this age of technology,
yeah,
and we're having to learn,
yeah.
technology at this age. I'm scared that I won't understand how, you
But,
know.
but 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 that's the thing that always kills me. I mean, I hear that, and you know why? Because we are the one generation that has seen the most amount of technological changes
We
ever
are.
in a lifetime.
We are. Yes, we
And
are.
we have survived. I mean, when I try to explain what cassette tapes are, or
Or the
or
dial rotary
CD-ROMs,
phone.
or dial, or
Right.
pages, or when I was born, we didn't have mobile phones, and when they did come out, they're as big as a briefcase. And then they
Right.
go, "What's a briefcase?" But that's another conversation, you know. So
Yes. Yes,
so
exactly.
why? And the fact is, we have been, and this is the thing that kills me. I'm getting on my soapbox now because we have been continuously evolving for the past 40, 50 years. We have been continuously evolving, continuously learning. There was never, we didn't have mobile banking. We had checkbooks. We
Right.
didn't have online bank, and we have learned all of that. So why the fear now of learning something new?
You're absolutely right. I agree with you 110%. And I don't have the answer because that's how I feel sometimes. I'm like, how am I going to do this? And now I have to do this. And now what's the fun? I mean, I was going through that the other day. I'm like, okay, how do I expand? How do I build my business
Yeah,
without having all these different components? Oh,
yeah,
get a platform that is a funnel type of, and I'm, what is a funnel? So I'm going
yeah,
through all
yeah,
that
yeah,
myself. So,
yeah.
but you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. And technology, we're still learning. It takes me a little bit longer, but it's
Yes.
not that I can't do it. It's just that I need to accept that my pace and
Yeah.
learn that this weekend, doing my running as well, because I no longer run, I walk. And so I've had to accept that. And the fact is, I'm still getting to my destination. It's just taking me a little bit longer to get there. And I'm learning new techniques and new ways to do it,
Right.
and measure my success differently. So if
Yeah.
that's any help to you, that's, and this, I've been 7 years doing this. So that, so it does come. We just need to accept we're not going to do it at the pace we did it before,
And give ourselves some grace.
so yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah. So let me come off that. Let me come off because
Okay.
I could go on for hours. So thinking about, you're a black woman, as you said, we're in this, we know what society thinks. But how has your identity as a black woman shaped your journey, especially at this point of time, this midlife?
I think it has shaped me. It has given me a new perspective on what I am able to do,
Okay.
what I'm able to accomplish, especially at this time, at this moment in my life, midlife. I'm not as much in fear of what could happen, even pertaining to my business, just pertaining to life in general. Um, and as a Black woman, I see myself as I see myself, can we cuss on here? I
Yes, we
see
can. Of
myself
course we
as the
can.
shit. I
Oh,
mean,
you are.
I am just unapologetically
Yeah.
um, amazed at the beauty and the wisdom and the knowledge that I have gained over the years,
Yeah.
and also feeling comfortable now in myself,
Yes.
and wanting to and being able to reach out to other Black women and build community because I haven't always been like this.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much of a, believe it or not, I am, what a introvert.
Yeah.
But at this point in my life, I'm wanting desperately, maybe that's not
Mm.
the right word, but yes, desperately, I'll say that, to be in community with other Black women.
Yeah.
So I just, I just feel at this time in my life that I'm just ecstatic about who I've become,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
want to share that with other women. Um, you know, so yeah, that's
That's
it.
beautiful. And
Thank you.
and I totally resonate with that because there's something about we're so self-accepting,
Yeah,
because every time we were told that we're our hair's not right, we're too fat, we're too thin, we're not this, we're not good, and I look at myself and I'm thinking I put a bit of weight on, bit of menopause weight, but am I happy with that? Yeah. Am I healthy? Yes. So I'm more accepting. I'm like, just the sheer thought of having to go on this ever perpetual diet to conform to what? For
right.
who?
For
Am I
who?
happy with who I am?
And most of, like you said, am I healthy?
Yes. Yeah.
You can be thin as a rail and not be healthy, but am I healthy? That's exact. Yes, I
Yeah,
totally
yeah, and
agree.
and I intend to be around a lot longer to harass my husband. Look,
Exactly.
you know. So like you say, it's about that self acceptance, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
So, just looking at that self acceptance and how you feel, how do you think that's helping you in your journey?
Oh wow. Like I said, it's giving me the I'll say bravery
Mm,
to reach out to other women and not be worried about, oh, are they going to like me? Are they going to come on my channel? Are they going, all those things that I felt as, a teenager.
yeah,
Um, but now I'm really, I'm not afraid. I'm
mm,
not afraid. And it's no competition. That's another thing I really like about
yeah,
being at this age. It's
yeah,
not about competition. I want to
yeah,
see everybody succeed. I want to see, Black women in our 50s, grow and succeed and be the best that they can be and enjoy where they are in their life. Because I
yeah,
don't think society, and especially, I can speak as on America because that's the only place I've ever lived. They don't appreciate women of a certain age. We're not valued. And if you're a Black woman, that's another strike against you. So um, I think I forgot the question you were asking. So, but
yeah. And I think I forgot what I asked you in the first place as well. But let's put that down to being women of a certain age. That's all right.
right,
We
exactly.
accept that. We accept that. Because I was thinking, I had another question in my head as you were talking. So you touched on community.
Hmm.
You touched on community and the importance of community for you
Yes.
right now. So how is that playing a role in your journey, whether personal or professional?
Well, community is a huge thing for me. As we talked about when you were on my channel, I am moving to Portugal. My husband will not be going with me right away,
Yeah,
so I'll be there. And for me, I had to find a space when I was looking for countries to go to. I said it was important that I found a space where there would be a Black expat community, so I can have that soft landing.
yeah,
So being in community and finding my tribe is very important because again, I want to learn from other women. I want to grow with other women and I hope that they learn something from me. And being in that community and just enjoying each other, that's what it's supposed to be about in this stage in our life, is enjoying, laughing, learning, and just accepting each other exactly where we are.
yeah, yeah. And you
So,
just said you just revealed something that the listening audience didn't know, but you're doing a similar thing like I did, is that you're pivoting careers, but you're pivoting countries.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
and
you're pivoting countries. So that's even that's probably even more of a huge move than it is changing careers. Yeah.
oh yeah, yes, it
So
is. It is having to learn a new language. I'm gonna have to
yeah,
learn language, which is always good for the brain, but
yeah,
and just learning a new culture and doing it without my husband to begin
yeah,
with.
yeah,
And he and I have been, it'll be 30 years this year that we've been married. So, doing that separately at first is going to be it's going to be challenging, put it that
yeah,
way. But
yeah.
I'm looking forward to the challenge, you
Yeah,
know.
that's good. That's great. So,
Yeah.
what's prompted that move, especially at this stage of life? Because again, it's huge.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I always tell the story that my husband is the one that introduced me to a YouTuber, a content creator who's on YouTube who talked
Mm,
about moving out of the country, Black woman.
yeah,
And I just started listening to her and I was like, oh, this is cool, and really wasn't. But then as I started listening over the past couple of years and I picked up on some other folks, I was like, you know what? There must
yeah,
be something different other than America. There has to be something different. And then I started weighing the pros and cons. I started weighing, okay, what about our health care? What about our cost of living? What about, just all those things. And I was like, I want to try something different.
yeah,
There has to be something different. And to believe that where we're at is the end all be all, or where I'm at is
Yes.
the end all
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
It's not true.
Yeah.
And so I decided, like I said, I was listening to people in
Yeah.
different countries,
Yeah.
and I happened to pick Portugal and went and visited because it checked off all my boxes. And then I went to visit, and I was like, okay, I think I could do this. It felt like home. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that that change and the reasons, like I said, healthcare, quality of
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
being able to make sure our money stretches
Yeah. Yeah.
with us
Yeah.
is very important. So
Yeah.
that was my reason for wanting to
Yeah.
pivot and try something new.
Yeah. And I'm not one to judge because I left countries 14 years ago. So
Uh,
I moved from the UK to the Caribbean and I haven't looked back. There are little things I hadn't thought about at the time, more
yeah,
family related. But
yeah.
apart from that, there are zero look back, zero
Oh
regrets.
yeah, and that's
So,
that's the same
so
with me. Yeah, that's the
yeah,
same with me. My kids, my grandkids, those are
yeah.
things that you go like, okay, but it's like reality. I don't see my kids
Technology.
every day, and
Exactly.
technology, right? And I don't see
Technology.
my
Yeah.
grandkids every day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna. I mean, again, and I think I get to the point again about the fact is, if we did that, we're thinking for everybody else again. We're putting everybody else first, and
right,
there gets a point or a time where, it may sound selfish, but actually, you've got more years behind you than you had have ahead of you. Facts.
yeah,
So isn't it
fact,
time you put yourself first?
right, exactly.
And it's not selfish, it's self
No,
first. So yeah, so I applaud you. I'm not going to argue with that because I'm already there.
yeah.
So now you're in this throw and you're doing all these moves and you're making all these changes.
Mhm.
How do you celebrate your wins? Because obviously it's very different now, as compared to earlier in your career.
How do I celebrate I think I just celebrate my wins with. That's a good question. And I don't, maybe, what, maybe it is I don't celebrate my wins enough. Maybe I need to look at it that way.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think this is a therapy session. Maybe I don't celebrate them enough.
And
Maybe
they
I
don't have
need,
to be huge.
they don't have to be huge, but I think because I'm still so embedded in corporate America that
Yeah,
I look at
absolutely.
my company as
Yes.
corporate
Y-
America. And when do we
Yes.
celebrate our wins in corporate America? At the end of the year
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
the company says, "Oh, we've made
Yeah.
a profit, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Here's your bonus."
Yeah.
But we don't
Yeah.
celebrate them in between. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
You know what? Mm.
If there's one piece of advice I can give you that I learned myself, because when I
Uh-huh.
first moved from corporate, I was measuring my success and
Mhm.
my business as I would corporate. And then
Right.
kicking myself as to why I wasn't achieving the targets. And then having to have a come to Jesus conversation myself with thinking about, well, you had a whole team there. You had a whole marketing department, a finance department, you had this, and you're doing it yourself right now.
Right.
So, and
Right.
if those were the levels, measures of success you wanted, why did you leave corporate? So
Right.
I had to redefine for me what success was. And success for me was, how can I spend more time in my garden? How
Mm.
can I spend more time feeling happier what I'm doing? So I had to redefine those measures of success. And then those are the wins, those little things in between. Oh yeah, I did that today. I'm like, I said I was gonna do 2 LinkedIn posts. Yeah, I've done that. I've scheduled. That's a win. Thanks very much. Now I can go in the garden. You know,
Thank
you
you.
know. So it really is about redefining what success means to you right now, because it's going to look very, very different, and it should.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Really,
So
really, really, really
I
should.
will start making more of an effort to celebrate my small successes.
Yes. But they're big. They lead to big
They are
things.
big. They are big,
Yes.
you
Lead
know.
to big things. So Angela, what do you think has been the most surprising thing about stepping into your power after 50?
Oh gosh, the most surprising thing about stepping into my power after 50. I'm going to say just being comfortable and enjoying where I am.
Yeah.
Just being comfortable and not feeling some type of way when I say no.
Mm,
And even when I'm saying no to my husband, no, I don't want to fix this or that. No, I don't, no, I don't want, and just being content with going out, even if it's outside and doing nothing. I just feel there's so much more peace within myself at this age. And I'm not having to prove, even with building my business, not having to prove anything to anyone, um, and giving myself more grace.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And what do you think the younger generation can learn from, us women reinventing themselves at this stage of life?
That it's never too late. I think it's too late when you're 6 feet under, then
Yeah.
maybe it's too late, but it's
Yeah.
never too late. I've
Yeah.
had a woman in her 70s, well, she was 69, but
Mhm.
come on, and she's still moving and shaking. And as
Yeah.
long as you're doing, what you truly enjoy, and even if that
Yeah.
is being in corporate, corporate
Mm.
America or wherever
Yeah.
you're living in the world,
Yeah.
as long as you're enjoying it, then, keep doing that. But
Mm.
being able to really enjoy your life in your 20s and 30s and 40s and not letting the world tell you who you
Yeah.
have to be, especially as a woman,
Yeah.
because they're quick to try and tell us who we have to be.
Yeah.
And I understand there's some societal uh, responsibilities that we have, but
Mm.
you also have to make you also have to determine what your responsibilities are going to be. And
Yeah.
as long as my thing, as long as you're not hurting anyone or any animal or doing destruction, then live your life the way you want to live your life and not let someone else dictate how you're supposed to live your life, whether that's, you know, well, whomever,
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then, so what myths about aging or midlife have you busted for yourself then?
say that again.
What myths or about aging or midlife have you busted for yourself?
Oh gosh. I don't know if I really don't know if I busted any myths for myself at midlife. I think I honestly I don't really think I busted any myths for myself at midlife. I'm just really, and I can keep reiterating this until I'm blue in the face. I'm just at really happy that I'm at a point in my life where I can look at myself and say, wow, you're really doing some amazing things. You
Yeah.
know, um, I think at least the women I've interviewed, and I can say regarding busting myths, is that they are living their life on their terms. And like I said, I was talking to a lady I interviewed the other day, and I said, we are not our mother's 50s. We're definitely not our grandmothers. So maybe that's a myth
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
busting. We are not our mother's 50,
Absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely.
because I think about when we used to watch things like, Leave It to Beaver and stuff like that, how the grandmother used to look like she was old and just hair
Yeah.
just gray everywhere and she's
Yeah.
wearing a frumpy dress. And I'm like, no, that's not the kind of grandmother I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Yeah.
maybe
Glamour.
that's a right grandma. So maybe that's a myth that
Yeah.
I'm busting that,
Fantastic.
I'm just um very pleased at where I'm going in my
Excellent.
life.
Excellent. So, talking of amazing things,
Mhm.
as we're wrapping up, tell me about the workshops you have coming up.
Okay, so there's a workshop. I'm still working on it. It's going to be
Mm.
me and a friend of mine, and it's going to incorporate, the boundaries we need to set, how we can bring joy back into our lives, um, how we are able to um, just reawaken who we are as
Yeah,
women,
yeah,
50 and above.
yeah.
So I'm still working on it, but we haven't set a time yet. But if
Okay,
you're interested, if anyone's interested, they can go to my website, Unapologetically 50 plus. Well, actually, I haven't changed it. I'm still changing everything over from Love Park Connection, but it's loveparkconnection.com. It'll link you to Unapologetically
fantastic.
50
Redirect.
plus.
Yeah,
Yeah, to
yeah.
redirect you there.
Fantastic.
So you
Well,
can
I'll
sign
put the
up.
links in the show notes as well. That's not a problem. That's not a problem at
Okay.
all. So as we wind down, if you could describe, Angela, this stage of life in one word, what would it be and why?
One word.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I knew it was going to be that. Why? I knew it was going to be that.
I think it's amazing because I'm at a stage, like I've said, I'm at a stage where I'm making my life the way I want it to be.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am living in a way that is pleasing to me,
Mm,
and I don't really care what other
yeah,
people think. I mean, I still have I still get my husband's opinion, or ask my kids, so I still bounce things
yeah.
off of them. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, I'm going to make the final decision about how I live my life
Fantastic,
by myself. Meaning
fantastic.
I'm going to make that decision on how I live my life, and
Yeah,
hopefully my family likes it, and if you don't, I'm sorry, you know.
fantastic. Fantastic. So you've already told us your website connections. So how we can Love Park Connection, Love
Loveparkconnection.com.
Park Connection. Are there anywhere else on the socials that people can follow you? Women can follow you.
Yes, on YouTube, Unapologetically 50 plus, and it's Unapologetic 50 plus plus. That's not how
Okay.
I have my business, but
Yeah,
Unapologetically 50 plus on all socials, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram. I really don't use Facebook and
yeah.
Threads. So yeah,
Fantastic,
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
So that was my last question, Angie. That time went past so very
it
quickly.
sure did.
I'll be sure to put all the links in the show notes. But
Right.
thank you so much for joining me on This Woman Can this week.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, now you know I never let you down with these interviews. And didn't I tell you Angela was going to bring the goods? I hope her journey and her joy reminded you that you're not too late, too old, or too anything in that matter to start fresh, whether it's setting boundaries, chasing new dreams, or finally putting yourself first. This is your time. Can you hear me? If Angela's story lit a spark in you, go follow her over at Unapologetically 50 plus and check out her workshops. And hey, share this episode with a sister friend who needs to hear that the best is still yet to come. As always, thank you for spending some time with me. If you've loved this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and tell the world that this woman can. Because if I can, you can, and you will. So until next time, stay fabulous and unapologetically you. Take care. Thanks for listening. If you got something from this week's episode, please let me know. Better yet, share it with your friends, colleagues, and anyone you know who can benefit from this message. Don't forget to subscribe or write a review and connect with me at my website, janicesutherland.com, where you can also subscribe to the This Woman Can newsletter or connect with me on LinkedIn. Remember, you have the wisdom, resilience, authenticity, and power to create a life on your terms. And if I can, you can, this woman can. Take care until next time.